I just joined the group of foreigner tourists, and I'm listening to the excursion on Chufut Kaleye. Chufut Kaleye, it's a cave monastery. It's a complex with monastery and old places for inhabitants, local people. For example, this monastery, which just situated in the cave, it was found in 8th century.
The settlement was last inhabited by Crimean Karims, a tribe of Turkic origin, probably descendant of Khazars, but which has a difference to Crimean Tatars, in which were the majority are Jews. The translation of the name literally means Jewish fortress in Turkish language.
There is only me and my flip-flops.
The place was strategically situated as a carved-out fortress, so getting up there is difficult enough, and it does require some hiking gear.
So these caves, called Chufut Kaleye, they were founded in 8th century, but the first remains was dated to 13th century. So this is a house where people was living, and on the period of blossom there was like 400 inhabitants here. Without windows, without heating system, without jacuzzi. I don't know, could I live like that or not?
Even if these are just ruins entering inside the rock, the space is divided as a group of rooms which are connected by narrow and difficult halls.
It's not for girls. I'm a big girl in a small cave.
Staying in Chufut Kaleye was never easy, and when Russia finally conquered Crimea and the new government granted Karaites the privilege to live anywhere in the empire, they just left.
And it's interesting that the last inhabitants of this place was living in this place in 19th century because it was very hard to live here.
But apart from an interesting piece of history of really unknown age and origin, here you can enjoy the peculiar look of the Crimean mountains with its Mediterranean-looking landscape.
"500 meters down, and we are on the edge." In Crimea, the particular characteristic of mountains in Crimea is looks like a plateau on the top. It's high, but on the top is like a flat. That's why there were a lot of different settlements during 6th, 8th, 9th century, just beginning from 5th century. And that's why now you can see a lot of caves and complexes in Crimea.
These plateaus, or yailas, are the traditional landscape of the old Crimean Khanate, a rival state to ancient Ukraine, inhabited by the Muslim Crimean Tatars, and that dominated nearly the full peninsula, except the southern coast, where I'm heading next.
I just can't imagine that under this rock there is a long tunnel. Balaklava, it was used during Soviet time like a hidden base for submarines. We can see the hole over there. It's an exit of a great tunnel which 850 meters long. Before 1991, when Ukraine was proclaimed independence, nobody knew about this place because it was secret. Even on the map you couldn't find the name Balaklava. And nowadays it's a very touristic place, not far away from Sevastopol.
Where you can just rent a boat and go out of the inlet into the open sea for a swim, never mind the absence of beaches in this stretch of coast. On a historical note, all this area surprisingly was controlled for a long time by Italian merchants.
Here there is the remains of a fortress called Cembalon. It was built in 1455 by Genoese Italians.
These ruins are not the only palace in the southern Crimean coast. Next I'm visiting the named Tsar Path due to its relation to Russian royalty.